الله أكبر الله أكبر.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه ومن استنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين. اللهم اجعلنا منهم ومن الذين عملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر آمين يا رب العالمين. ثم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. فبما رحمة من الله لنت لهم ولو كنت فظا غليظ القلب لانفضوا من حولك فاعف عنهم واستغفر لهم وشاورهم في الأمر فإذا عزمت فتوكل على الله إن الله يحب المتوكلين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي واللهم ثبتنا عند الموت بلا إله إلا الله آمين يا رب العالمين. Inshallah ta'ala, this lecture is actually based on a discussion I had with one of the TDC volunteers who was asking me about my experience. My very brief experience of having traveled to a great number of Muslim communities across the United States, about 75 of them, all over the country, and having spent at least a couple of weeks in each of them, I began to notice some things that are across the board almost universal problems. Problems that all of you perhaps are familiar with and that you face. And of course problems that as I traveled in all of these communities as a guest, people sort of open up to guests and they tell them stuff that they're really not supposed to know, but they tell them anyway. And people open up the whole can of worms, let me tell you what's going on in my community, you know, that sort of thing. And so I heard a lot of this, and it came to a point after I heard it about 2 dozen, 3 dozen times, that the next time I heard it I said, wait, you're about to tell me, let me tell you. And they said, how'd you know? Who told you? I said, crazy guess. But basically what I came to discover was that the Muslim community, subhanAllah, we have a lot of great assets. And we have not that many problems. You think we have many problems. We have very few large problems. But we have pretty much the same problems across the board. Now I'm going to just throw some questions at you, perhaps at your local masjid. And this talk really, it's designed not just for people that are volunteers or helping out at a masjid, even though it is for them too. People that are working in any capacity in a collective form. You know, you can serve Islam individually when you make salah. You know, it's your individual contribution to deen for yourself, right? But then there's a collective contribution where you come together with other Muslims and you try to do something. This could be at your MSA, this could be at a Sunday school, this could be at an Islamic school, this could be at a da'wah organization, this could be at an educational institute, this could be at a masjid, it could be at any, or putting a conference together, right? Muslims come together to serve the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Now the thing is, people come together to, you know, when they come together, they come for a higher purpose that they couldn't have established or accomplished themselves. Of course we do this at work, right? We come together and we do something. We work on projects together. You'll find that, you'll find people that are very easy to get along with at work. Really friendly guy, like he's, you know, everybody loves him. That same guy is a volunteer at the masjid, and man is he mean. This guy's really hard. You probably avoid saying Assalamu alaikum to him, because if he catches you, you'll just be really mean, right? So you find this almost contradiction between two personalities. You say, why is this person so nice everywhere else? When it comes to Islam, when it comes to working with other Muslims, it's very harsh. So we're going to try and tackle some of these issues because they are at the heart of the communication catastrophe, the problem we have in our masajid. We're not able to communicate with each other for a higher purpose. We're not able to communicate with each other at an MSA or at a youth group or at a qabila even for a, you know, whatever, you know, chapter. Something like that. You're not able to do so sometimes only because of these subtle issues, these subtle vibes that are taking place, that exist. Anyway, let's look at the masjid for example. Common questions that are a point of conflict. Who should be the imam? How should the masjid funds be spent? Should it be on the dome or the parking lot or the playground or what else? When do we celebrate Eid al-Ramadan? When does it begin? Does it begin Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday? What organizations to endorse or not to endorse? How do you elect a board member? What is the role of the imam versus the emir of the masjid? You know, then the board members are always saying all people do is complain. And the people are saying all these board members do is they don't even listen to us. So this is going on both sides, right? And volunteers also, the same thing. People working at an MSA, like all these guys, all they do is complain, but they never distribute any flyers, they never help out with anything. So there's this complaint, there's this ill feeling on both sides. You know, who should have the right to complain and how should they do so? You know, how do we deal with suggestions? What are the rights and powers and responsibilities that come with a position? You're the secretary of, or the treasurer of the MSA, or you're the vice president of the masjid, or you're the vice principal of the school, or the principal of the school, something like that. What does that mean? What is your role? What is your responsibility? What powers do you execute? And when do you get to have a say? There's this thing in almost all the masajid that I went to, there's this thing about you becoming a board member, but you don't really have a say until a year. And after a year, then you'll have a say, because we don't want the musalla people to take over the board. And you know what that means? That means there's people that come to pray regularly, but they're not on the board. And then there's the people who come to visit every Friday, but they're on the executive committee. And they don't want the people who regularly pray to be on the committee. And there's this struggle between the people who actually attend the masjid and the people in charge of the masjid. And both sides have this ill feeling towards it. And some of you are going, yeah, man, that's me. or I don't know what side of the aisle you're on. It doesn't matter. The problem is,